Let's talk about lag. How do you create it to get power and speed in your golf swing? Now, lag is a funny thing. I'm a big believer it comes as a byproduct of good motion in the body, good wrist movements, and a good start of the downswing. But a lot of people are finding it hard to create an angle. So we're going to do the over egg it move. So if you're not from Manchester, that means over exaggerate it. So most people struggle to get into this area at last parallel. Hips open and sort of seeing this. I think this is what a lot of people will associate with lag. Then from here, unleashing it into the golf ball. We're going to talk about a feeling to get to that point. I think far too many golfers start their downswing throwing this angle away. And that is the same with irons and driver. Absolutely the same. So how about we flip that on its head? So many golfers create a lot of wrist hinge through the backswing, start their downswing by throwing it away. We're going to do the complete opposite in this drill. We're going to try it. I'm going to show you both aspects, show you them on the video here using this fantastic facility at Bramall Park, because I think you've got to see this. You've got to see what's right and wrong and then try the drill. So we're going to do the opposite. We're going to go try and feel no wrist hinge to creating wrist hinge. And remember with this, it's a drill, not something I want you to take to the golf course, and potentially you might not want to hit any shots with it. But it's a feeling of this. And we'll go into a little bit of detail about what this looks like in terms of these wrists as well. So do stick around for this whole video. So let's hit one away now. Loads of wrist hinge to throwing it away. And then I'm going to hit a second one away exactly at the same time. And we're going to look at them both on the camera here. So here we go. So loads of wrist hinge to throwing it away. A little bit of a fat strike. So if you're one of them people who struggles with that fat strike, we have you covered on this one here. Now let's hit that shot of feeling no wrist hinge to getting it in there. Remember, we'll go to those wrist details in great detail shortly. Let's now hit that second one away. So no wrist hinge to feeling it. And through. So let's have a look at these now. Both halfway back position. On the left, we've got the one where we're really trying to hinge it a lot on the way back. And then on the right here, no real hinge. So we can see the differences here. So let's take them both top of the backswing now. Okay, so this one on the right, we'll see an increase in hinge. Look at this position here, last parallel, really big hinge in here. Golf club, maybe a little bit too excessive, but remember, we're over egging this drill. And then here on the left, really throwing the angle away. And you can see here, my hands are no way near my right thigh. I'm really throwing this golf club angle away down towards the ground early. So bringing these both back to the same position and these hands to the same position, look at the differences here. A lot more lag. What people will kind of call lag, and get that feeling of lag. So this is a really great way to sort of illustrate and get a feeling for this in your golf swing. Now, I do kind of come with this drill with a word of caution. I wouldn't overdo it. It's a feeling for you to achieve this position here. So what I feel in the downswing and the way I start my downswing is sort of this motions with my wrist. So as I'm starting the downswing, we're sort of making these motions. So it's like wringing a towel out, and then we can release it through. This keeps this angle, and what we would translate that to is that feeling of lag in the golf swing. I use it with a word of caution because if you can get the feeling of achieving that position at last parallel in here, you then have the ability to let that club release through, rather than this one, very much an early release, leading to higher shots, because you're going to increase the dynamic loft rather than decreasing the dynamic loft. So in simple terms, we ideally want to do this drill for a number of factors. It's going to create more speed, it's going to reduce dynamic loft, so our 7 iron will turn into sort of like a 6 iron, not turning our 7 iron into an 8 iron, 9 iron. And then with our longer irons, we're going to see a lot more bang for our buck. So let's go into a little bit more detail on these wrists. I want you to stand there and take it to the extreme, get that feeling, so it's almost going to this. That's the first drill. But then in reality, what we want to feel is this, to the top, keeping the angle in that back wrist. Not throwing it away early. Can we keep that angle in that back wrist? Because essentially, this is that feeling of lag, this is that feeling of pressure, and this is that feeling of strike. I would definitely recommend doing this with your irons and your driver. So if we look at another drill, almost like a progression drill, so we go from an exaggerated feeling the opposites and the extreme opposites, and then sort of once we get a good concept of that, once we can see differences on video, I think you should try that as well. Use this drill. So hook the left hand under the right elbow. I want you to swing back, and I want you to keep the angle in your back wrist. Club face matching spine, then hit that golf ball away. Doesn't necessarily matter what strike you get, you're learning to keep the angle, throw the angle away, and release it on the way through. Because essentially, there will be a point in the golf swing where we do want to throw this angle away, because that's us taking the power from our body, our rotation, and putting it all the way at the end of the golf club, at the right point. That's how you're going to become the most efficient golfer for you. Try this progression drill. Exaggerate it, no hinge to hinge, into the one-handed drill. So I hope that's a really simple way for you to feel this, a really simple way for you to over-exaggerate it, and use of that video there really shows you how you can build this into your golf swing. Thanks so much for joining me, hope you enjoyed today's drill, and see you soon.